Hello again, Star Wars unboxing fans. This episode is not brought to you by Coke. I just happen to have one, and I'm wearing a Galaxy's Edge Coca-Cola shirt. Who knows why? But Coca-Cola Company, looking for a sponsor. Anyway, whatever. Welcome to another episode of Darth Tuba, Star Wars unboxing show. I'm your host, Darth Tuba, with 4 types of unboxings here. We've got an eBay auction, complete with eBay sticker. We've got, I think, this is either an eBay auction or a claim sale. We've got an Entertainment Earth figure, which I actually, for a change, I actually know what this one is. And we've got something from IC Toys, who do Tuesday night, Taco Tuesday kind of auctions, online live auctions, which are a lot of fun. I'm probably paying way too much attention to it, but I've purchased a few items with them over the last couple of weeks. So let's get to it. These are all kind of a random hodgepodge. Again, what do I collect? I always say this on every episode because, I know some of you watch every week, but I've been trickling in new subscribers every week. So I like to kind of keep a reminder of what this channel is all about, It's a love of Star Wars, all things Star Wars. I'm not one that restricts myself to just the original trilogy, just the prequels, just the sequels, just Clone Wars. I love it all. Some I watch more than others. Some I usually try to give everything a single watch and then decide if I want to do a rewatch. But when it comes to collecting, my major focus is true vintage. I call it true vintage. That's my own term. True vintage meaning 1970s, 1980s. Toys, collectibles, other items from that time period. Okay? But also, I like the vintage collection, the VC figures that are coming out from Hasbro at present. Why? I don't care which movie they come from or video game or any of that nature. I just love the card art and that they're doing kind of a throwback to the true vintage 70s and 80s style of packaging. So I do keep them in the package. And if they do a retro line, I usually collect that as well. So those are my areas of collection. What some of these items are also items that I am going to add to a sell pile of things that I feel I can flip, either parts. I know at least one of these is actually a part to a vehicle from the 70s and 80s that I'm going to be able to add to it and then be able to put that out at a sale, whether it's my own sale that I do once a year in June or a toy show, which I don't know at the time. I record very much ahead. So by the time this video actually gets dropped, it might already be done. But on November 22nd, I'm doing an Allentown toy show. A friend of mine is actually running the toy show, and he invited me to come out, and he even gave me a table for free. So aside from gas to get there, there's really no investment on my part. So I'm going to give it a shot. Thank you to my friend David for doing that, and I'm going to see what I can come up with. So I've done a flea market and did all right. I did my own sale, which was majorly successful. So let's see what we got. We'll start with this one, which I think it's one of these two. Okay, I'm not sure exactly which one it is. So I'm trying to find the easiest way to unbox. Oh, that's pretty easy. Okay, and this is not what I thought, but it does come from, they gave me a little Star Wars Forces of Destiny sticker, which I have a nice little box here that I picked up at an auction. This is what the old Return of the Jedi buttons used to come in, and I have some of those buttons in here, but I always like to put any stickers and nice letters and notes that people put in. That's really cool about this community. The collecting community can be the collecting community, the vendor community is different than the collecting community. But I will tell you that if you are someone out there looking, vendors that are also collectors, they're part of the collecting community. They love this stuff. They try to buy and sell Star Wars mainly to, maybe partially for a living, but also partially to fund their own collection. That's kind of what I'm doing. So when they send little things like that, I'm going to try, when I get going with that, I'm going to try to do that. All right, this person, this was a claim sale. There were a few items. If you've been watching my channel, you might see that there were a few items here that I needed to kind of help add to the complete, to quote unquote complete a set of Imperial troop transports. We've got 2 doors here. Okay, we've got this one I really like. This is one of the Imperial troop transporter vehicles. If you watch me, I just restored like 3 out of I had 4 of them. I restored 3 of them. Almost complete. One of them had all the stickers. So I kind of was very careful to do whatever restoring I could, but not to damage the stickers. So somebody was offering one of these with a sticker, and I had 5 that didn't have one, but one of them that did. So I got that one. I got the 2 doors. I got 2 of the radar antennas, and I got 2 of these these things that go over the figures. They're kind of like prisoner restraints, and one of them had a sticker, one of them didn't. But I said, you know what? That's okay. I wanted them. These are all going to go right to those vehicles, and I will put them out very soon. All right. Oh, hey, and one more thing. This was for I had a ATST without this top canopy. It is still missing the top little circular lid, but I didn't have any of this at all. So I said, oh, let me grab that too. So they put these items out for minimal amount of money, and I can definitely go, absorb that into the cost of trying to resell it. I don't try to resell these items for a huge amount, just what I paid plus a few bucks. So this one, whoop, had a little accident there. Box fell off. Sorry. Edited, only took a few seconds, but I figured while I was stopped, I would grab one of the Imperial Troop transports that I am thankfully able to get this piece. You can see this piece is almost complete. It doesn't have the battery cover. That is a very hard thing. I am in the process of trying to bid on them, but it is missing, see, one of those. So, and one thing I was worried about, yeah, the color is pretty good. They pretty much line up, so that is awesome. Okay, so there you go. The rest of these, I will put out there with the other one. Unfortunately, my remaining, oh yeah, and he's got this one is all ultimately complete. I have another one that needs both of these, and also one of these. So that will work in the future. Let's try this again, not to drop my eBay box on the floor. I believe this is the item that I purchased to go with the vehicle. Yes, those were 2, but this was the one I purchased from eBay, and yes. Ooh. Okay. Yes, we have one of the landing struts from for the Millennium Falcon. I am also waiting on, I have to check on that one because I thought this also came with a ramp. So I have to look at my eBay wins and make sure it could have come. I do so many that it could have come from another buyer. So I will check on that and see. But I do think I think I got one that was a ramp and a strut, and then I got another strut. So I do believe that's right. This came from a single buyer. These aren't cheap. These things don't, the more tiny and easy to break or lose these items are, the more expensive they are. So for anybody who is thinking about trying to amass a complete vehicle, keep in mind the smaller the piece gets, the more expensive it is. Okay, just like some accessories for figures. Some accessories, if it's one that they use for multiple figures, they made a ton of them, so it's a little easier to get. But if it's a smaller accessory that only went with one type of figure, or they just didn't make as many of them, that's going to be a challenge. So keep that in mind. All right. So if my advice to people like that is that if you don't have to have it be 100% complete. I would make it as close to complete as you can, and then sell it with a little bit of a loss. I mean, less money than what they're going for complete, obviously, because it isn't complete. And then that allows the buyer to, make the decision on what they want to do with that last piece that they didn't have. They can either go out and find it like I just did and pay whatever money it was for that, or they could do a reproduction if that's what they want to do. And again, I know some people are against repros. I'm like kind of a live and let live kind of person. Personally, I did the repro thing for a little bit, then I decided against it. I don't mind doing customs and things of that nature, but when I know that they're not part of the original. But I don't like repros unless there's a definitive differentiation, okay, that you can see. Unfortunately, my feeling is if they were to make them kind of like they do today, where the weapons were, how like you used to be able to buy the life-size Han Solo blaster, right? Looked exactly like the blaster. Then in the 90s, they kind of made a rule that you can't have guns that look like guns. They have to have a weird color or have discoloration on them. So they now created the same hand blaster, but with orange. I think they should do that. You know, they should just make the black, if they want to reproduce weapons, fine, reproduce them, but in weird colors, like neon and stuff, so people know they're reproductions, but that's just an opinion. All right, let's go with the IC ones. We'll stick to the vintage stuff first, and then we'll do the VC, vintage collection stuff. Yeah, they always give me these advertisements for ICCCon, or you know, ICCC, which I wish I knew. To this day, I'm not exactly sure what that means. I think Imperial Commissary Collectors Club, I'm guessing, or Collectors Con. But they do one, I think, twice a year, and they do it in Nashville, Tennessee, or just different part, not Nashville, different parts of Tennessee. And you know, this year I was like, ooh, you know, maybe I'll go try to make a trip, you know, because this thing is like really, really awesome. I've seen a lot of videos of it. It's not too big. They do have some celebrities. They do have some panels, but it's not over the top. It's really for collectors. It's mostly Star Wars, but there's other vintage items there as well. And what's really cool about this is that, you know, they do it every year, twice a year. So it's not like Celebration where you can only do it like once every other year, and usually sometimes it's in like a whole other country, and it's really, really challenging. It's just that I was trying to price myself, okay, how do I get to Tennessee? And you know, the problem from here to Tennessee, and you know, a flight is generally like $400 or $500 round trip, which is fine. I could cover that, but you know, remember, you go to one of these things, you're looking to maybe buy or trade or sell. So then the other thought was maybe I could drive. You know, it's a 12-hour drive from here. So I don't know if I really want to do that, but I might consider it. We'll see. Maybe down the future, sometime in the future. Sadly, I'm still working as a teacher, but next year or after next year, like after summer of 2027, I'm going to have more time on my hands because I'm planning on retiring, and this is the kind of stuff I want to do. So hope to see all you guys there. Oh, they gave me another cool sticker. Ooh, IC for life. That's cool. IC for life. A little thing about that. That's part of the ICCC, Imperial Commissary, and that is it's actually an organization. They look for volunteers, which I'm going to volunteer, that help if people who are in this group are, let's say, a collector. See, we collectors from the original 70s and 80s are of a certain age, shall we say, i.e. we're old, and slowly and surely some of us are starting to, sadly, pass away. And if a collector who's amassed a huge collection in their basement or in their house, in their man cave or woman cave, were to pass away, and they had a spouse who really wasn't a collector with them, they would more than likely just put the stuff out in an estate sale or a Facebook marketplace and just sell it for peanuts, and dealers would come in and grab it all and for pennies on the dollar, which would not be good. So what this company does is it gets collectors and people that know the value of these collections to go to the place where the person, you know, passed away, catalog it, put it all together, put it out and, you know, send it to a place to get auctioned off, and the bulk of the proceeds go to the family, which I think is a really cool thing, and frankly, it's really the only thing that should happen. So I hope to be a little more part of it. Yes, okay, this is cool though. I ended up picking up one item, I think. I'm gonna double check. I don't think there's anything else in here. I got a Return of the Jedi AT-AT Commander with the coin sticker or coin print. I can't tell. I think it's a sticker. And this is 65 back, right? And it's, you know, it's generally decent condition. This is how I buy them, both for my collection and to resell. They do have some wear and tear. This is an unpunched card, but it has a little bit of a scratch on it. I'm fully aware of that. You can see it there next to the Eye of Jedi. You can see how it's scratched up a little bit. But the reality of it is that these are the figures that I can afford. Okay, and also I can, for what I paid for it, I could possibly flip it at a sale. And again, it's all coming back into the same thing. You know, every time I flip it, I either pay for the credit card bills that went to pay for this, or I pay for, you know, I use it to fund more collecting for future sales. It's just a big round robin thing. If I think I have an AT-AT Commander. If I have an AT-AT Commander on an Empire card, I'll probably keep this one. If I don't have an Empire card, if I have it on a Jedi card, I'll take the better of the two, and I'll put the other one out for the sale. So that's this one. Thank you so much for IC Toys for also sending me, you know, shipping it in this. There's going to be a future video where I want a larger auction with about 10 figures, and they sent it to me, you know, in a huge box, which I sort of understand and sort of don't. So I just want to make sure. I don't think there's anything else on there. There is not. All right. So that is the ICCon auction. All right, and now I probably should have ended with that one because this one's going to be a little bit boring, but that's all right. This is, of course, the new way of shipping new figures, which I like. Box in a box. And every time I do this, I always think of Yzma. I'll put that box in a bigger box, and I'll mail that box to myself. You know, you know. And this is, of course, without bending the box, because that's the whole point of this. There we go. Yep. That's a name I've not heard in a long time. A long time. VC 373. Finally, we have what I consider to be, that is an, I'll see if I can get close enough for you to see the likeness there. I think that's an awesome likeness. Maybe a little bit heavy on the beard, but not too much. Obi-Wan Kenobi, Ben Kenobi, Star Wars Episode 1, complete with the, Episode 4, complete with the yellow lightsaber from the original packaging. So cool. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I am in love with this figure without even looking closely at it. I love how it comes with a yellow lightsaber in the picture, but a blue lightsaber in the package, because that's how it originally was, which was weird, but it's okay. So I am just, you know, and again, I don't take these out. These are, to me, are pieces of art that I keep on display, and I will hold on to these for a while. Again, as I said, I've been, you know, selling off the collection bit by bit, and I've been, you know, kind of downsizing what I collect itself to be mostly vintage. Yeah, you'll see I even have, like, you know, I talk about other things. I have my vintage Ben Cooper Star Wars masks, because at the time of this recording, it's October. I'm into the Halloween season. I don't think we're going to be into October by the time this video drops, although I might just start throwing. I number all my videos, but I'm so far ahead at this point that I'm thinking about just forgetting and stop numbering them. I think once I get to 1,000 videos, I think I'm going to just maybe stop numbering and just kind of put the date, because it's just so much. You know, there's so many videos and there's so much. I've been really on a kick this, you know, in fact, too much. I've been trying to pull back a little bit because, you know, I'm not made of money, so this is a lot. But I've just found so many cool resources that, you know, you're always in that buyer remorse, like, or the buyer remorse of not getting something. Like, oh my God, somebody has a, you know, like one troop transport figure holder that has the sticker. I need that, which I did for this one, you know, but I could have put one on without the sticker. So, you know, you got to be logical. This was actually a pretty good buy, and this I ordered, you know, 5-6 months ago, you know, pre-ordered. So, you know, it is a bit of everything. So, anyway, I'm rambling. Thank you so much for watching, guys. That's it for today. A little bit of new, a little bit of old. And check me out on Instagram at Bluesky, Darth Tuba Star Wars Unboxing page on Facebook. Thank you to all the people, all the dealers that I deal with, all people on eBay, on Facebook, claim sales, I haven't done much with Marketplace. I will say I did make maybe 1 or 2 things. Most of Marketplace, you have to go and pick it up, which I'm okay doing. I just haven't had time to do that, so I haven't really been jumping into that as of late. And of course, Star Wars Daddy, I always like to give him a shout out, because so many of my auctions, not this week, but so many of my auctions have been from his awesome buying and selling. So thanks so much, Star Wars Daddy. Thank you all of you for watching. Until next time, may the Force and the toys, new and old, be with you.